All right, guys, good to see you. Once again, we're here with Kevin Owens, and we're talking about the riveting topic of life insurance. Woo! So, Kevin, should I have life insurance?
I'm not feeling the excitement.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, we talked about home insurance.
This is my excited face.
Life insurance was probably my first love in insurance, to be honest. Yeah, it was where I kind of started. What was the question? Should
I have life insurance?
Should you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why people have it. Personally, I think it's very intriguing. It's an amazing thing. We've talked about homeowners so much. I mean, that to me is an obvious reason to have life insurance. I just put myself $350,000 in debt. Who's going to pay that mortgage if I'm a spouse, let's say? There's the reason that the business owners, which I think we'll talk about, just being a spouse and having an income. A lot of people, you have stay-at-home parents, and a lot of people would say, why would you need life insurance? You're not making any money. Well, the reality is, if that person were to pass, who's going to take care of the kids? Who's going to do all that stuff while you're at work for 10, 12 hours a day? Some people do. Many reasons to have life insurance. Taxes is a big one. It's tax-free benefit. So you got a $500,000 policy. I don't know really any other way where you get $500,000 tax-free.
Okay, so this can turn into kind of a rabbit hole because there's many kinds of life insurance, right? There's term life insurance, and I think, we're all in our early 30s, so this is probably something that we're not as well versed in as maybe somebody who's, had a policy or, that kind of thing. Right. So can you go over in basic, like, what is a term versus, isn't it full life? What are the...
I refer to it as temporary versus permanent. So term is it's temporary. There's a number of different types of permanent policies. You just want to land it on the situation. Similar to, we want to find the right company for this particular person on their home. We want to find the right type of life insurance for somebody if they're interested in the permanent products. So that's the way I do it. The basics of that, the term, the temporary policies, those are less expensive. There's no internal cash value growing, so you're not able to borrow off it or grow money in any fashion that way. And once the term is up, it's gone, more than likely. So I might have, a 20-year term is very, very common, especially with young folks. After 20 years, either it's going to go away or the price is going to be so outrageous that I would never, ever stick with it. You have plenty of different permanent products. Index Universal Life came on the scene around 2000, and those have been very popular as well, and can be great vehicles for people. There's whole life, smaller whole life policies. People always say whole life.
Okay.
And that's not a blanket term. That's a specific term.
Okay.
To a certain type of policy, and it's actually more of an older fashioned term. If I were to sell a whole life, it would be $25,000 and under on the benefit. I would not go up higher than that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one, we're talking about basically it's kind of the unselfish insurance, right? The rest, like collector cars, boats, home, whatever, that's kind of more wedding rings. You're focused on yourself, but with even a term policy, you're focused on the people around you, right? And making sure that if something happens to you, that they don't fall into a crazy amount of debt or what have you based on the things that you owe, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy, I'm trying not to go too deep, but when somebody passes, weird things happen. There's a lot of time that lapses. Even if I have accounts that need to transfer to somebody, that takes time. There's probate court and all kinds of different things. Life insurance is, about 10 days. Here's your money. Here's a check. For the kids to get through college, who's going to do that? So I think that's kind of the basic question you got to ask. What would happen if? And also when you're really saying, okay, I need life insurance, say, what is the goal?
Sure.
And that kind of leads the way into how much and what type and so on.
So as a small business owner, and my husband's going to eventually be a small business owner, should we each have life insurance? And I mean, does it matter that we're both small business owners?
Right. So I hate to say, yeah, you need it. It just seems so salesman-like. But I guess the question is the same. What would happen if? What would happen to them if something bad were to happen. And I think people have a hard time really facing the reality of that. The fact is that it's possible, I guess, that something bad could happen, obviously. And so they're scared to go purchase and look into this and whatnot. But in reality, what it does is it gives you just some peace of mind, and you stop worrying. You stop worrying about passing because I got things taken care of.
Well, and I think a conversation we had is that I own a couple businesses where I have partners. And it didn't even dawn on me, of course they always talk to you about a buy-sell agreement. Like, okay, you need to make sure that if you get business divorce that you know what's going to happen. But the problem is, in that discussion, very seldom do they include, what if that person dies? What if it's an involuntary leaving of the partnership through an accident, right? Yeah. And so I think that's really crucial. And I don't want to go into it too much here and now, but it seems to me more so than the other kinds of insurance we've talked about so far, it's critical that people sit down and really talk to you about their different, endeavors and what they need to protect with life insurance. Right.
So even if I don't have any heirs, if I have debts, that debt's going somewhere. The government or whoever wants their money, and it's similar with a business where it's not the debt that's going somewhere, it's the business that's going somewhere. So if I were to pass, let's say I have a spouse, now my spouse comes in and she's a part owner all of a sudden. Is that what you want for the business? In a lot of cases, no. And so what you do is even if it's not a spouse, who's next of kin? You just saw it with the Seattle Seahawks. And it seems like that's actually going very smoothly, but who knows who that person is. So what you do is you get with the estate planner, your attorney, you get your agreement in place. This is the amount that's funded to basically pay off the well spouse or the next of kin to where now the business is mine. I'm the well partner, is still alive. And that's what you put in place. It's simple on my side. The difficult part is figuring out that number with your attorney. Once that number's in place, that's the amount of benefit we put in. We base our decision off price basically at that point, and we go from there.
Cool. Very cool. I think that's great.
It's super crucial, and I think it is underlooked, at least by people in our age demographic. So I think that's super important.
Yeah. Thanks for helping us understand a little bit better, because now I have a lot of questions around whole life as a wealth building vehicle, and I know there's lots of options there, but I think that's really on a case by case. So
you go into long-term care if you like. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's keep it light today. What do you
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Life insurance, good.
Well, hey guys, thanks for hanging with us again and getting a few more tips on life insurance. As always, if you have any questions, Kevin's info is in the comments, Paige and mine as well, so feel free to hit us up. Talk to you soon.